I'm taking. This meeting to order. Council Lady Frankie, will you give us the invocation?
I'll stand there. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for the many blessings you have bestowed upon us, and Lord, most of all, for allowing us to serve the Cherokee people. We ask you, Lord, to be in this meeting and be with us as we make decisions, and just guide us as we do the people's business. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen.
Shelley, would you call the roll?
Here. Here. Honey?
Here. Here. Present.
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 Honey? Here. Here.
Here.
Honey?
Honey.
Honey?
Honey.
Okay. We have two sets of minutes in the book, the minutes of March 10th and the minutes of March 27th. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to approve both sets of minutes. Are there any corrections to be made? All those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. We'll now have the State of the Nation by Principal Chief Bill John Baker.
OCO. And welcome to the April 14th, 2014 Tribal Council meeting. We have been extremely busy this last month. We just got back home from the Smithsonian Institute, where we had a historic and wonderful time. The Eastern Band of the Cherokees, the UKB, and the Cherokee Nation came together in Washington, D.C. at the National Museum of Native Americans. We had 40, 50 representatives of those tribes. The youth choir was fabulous. The storytelling was wonderful. The arts, the crafts, we don't have the numbers yet, but they're suspicioning that we set some all-time records, not only in their gift shop, but in traffic coming through. there were so many people that were so interested in learning about and seeing about the Cherokees that it was truly, truly heartwarming. And everybody did just a fantastic job, and you were very, very well represented. We had several council people. The speaker was there. Janelle was there. Frankie was there. Joe Bird was there. Victoria was there. Did I miss anybody? Okay. But anyway, fantastic job. And you know, we all took an oath of office to promote the culture and the heritage of the Cherokee and the language of the Cherokee people. We did an extremely good job of that at our nation's capital. While I was there, I testified before the House Appropriations, met several senators, many representatives. We were very well received, but it went extremely well. Now, I do know that Victoria and Tina, who else got to see the justice with you?
Diane.
And Diane Barker Harold got to go to the Supreme Court and meet with Justice Ginsburg. That was a neat thing. Before I left, we had a historic meeting at the Heritage Center of the Cherokee Nation. We celebrated the 175th anniversary of the last detachment that arrived in Tahlequah, Oklahoma from the Trail of Tears. It finally meant that that terrible stain on the American fabric was over. That they arrived, although 25% of the population did not survive, those that did were not ready to give up. They were not ready to throw in the towel. Even though they were herded up and put in stockades and stripped of their wealth, stripped of their homes, stripped of everything that they had except what they could carry on their back, they showed up in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and decided to rebuild the Cherokee Nation once again. And if we can pass on nothing else about our heritage and our history to our young people, it's that no matter how bad things get, we can survive. We can take it, and we can go forth, and we can rebuild as a people. That is ingrained in each and every one of us. It's in our DNA. The Veterans Center is at full operating capacity. We have Dr. Rick Robinson on the back row, who is the director of our Veterans Center. We've just received Certified Healthy for our Head Start and our Health Services Department. The Diane's group has now opened a cafe in the Court Mall that everybody needs to try. It's not only a coffee shop and a sandwich shop, and I'm sorry, it's commerce. Yeah. Okay, Anna's group. But they've opened it up to not only draw more traffic to the arts and the crafts and the things that we've got downtown Tahlequah to showcase our artists, but they're also using it for entrepreneurs. So that these young people that are coming in, that are serving, fixing, taking your money, all those things, they're learning to put in their own restaurants, their own coffee shops, to create jobs around the 14 counties where they can be the entrepreneur and already know how it works, how to run it, and get a good idea of how they could start a small business. And then they'll tie some of the loans and that is available through Commerce to help these folks create businesses to not only make a living for themselves, but to hire other Cherokees in the entrepreneurial spirit. We'll be joining Macy's next Thursday for another historic groundbreaking. Everybody likes to beat Texas, and that's truly what we did. Between the state of Oklahoma and the Tulsa Regional Chamber and what the Cherokee Nation could bring together with jobs training, recruitment, some of our roads dollars, we were able to put the icing on the cake to win 1,000 jobs inside the Cherokee Nation. Quality jobs that I'm hoping and expecting that Diane will see that a good percentage of those are Cherokee citizens. Next Monday is Cherokee Nation Day at the state capitol. I hope that any and everybody that can make that available on their calendar will come up and showcase the Cherokee Nation to our state senators and our state representatives and to the governor. We've been, like I say, extremely busy, but the Cherokee Nation has truly been blessed this last month. But we come to a point in this presentation where we remember those Cherokee citizens that were with us last month that are no longer with us. So if you'll bear with me, we'll read through an extensive list and then have a moment of silence. Anthony Allen of Hulbert, Donald Beatty of Grove, Silas Blevins of Jay, Floyd Bluebird of Tahlequah, Charlotta Brewer of Tahlequah, Betty Bryan of Claremore, Lillian Buckles from Stillwell. Help me.
Lillian Ruth Buckles.
Buckles.
She's from Salisaw.
Oh, from Salisaw, you're right. Billy Buckner from Stillwell, Norma Cagle from Jay, Rose Marie Chewy of Pryor, Linda Cochran of Stillwell, Janet Daniels of Pryor, Juanita Fletcher of Grove, Barbara Flynn of Stillwell, Lydia Foreman of Grove, Martha Foster of Tahlequah, Joseph Gibbs of Tulsa, Melva Gord of Tahlequah, Melbourne Hott of Claremore, Janet Hendren of Grove, Bobby Jackson of Bartlesville, Gary Jackson of Dewey, Jesse Jumper of Grove, Corey Leach of Tahlequah, John Lovell of Tulsa, Jane Moore of Bartlesville, Darlene Morris of Tulsa, Thomas Perryman of Okmulgee, Brenda Potberg of Tahlequah, Hepsy Ridenauer of Tulsa, Marcella Sewer of Collinsville, Billy Lou Taylor of Wagner, Tom Taylor of Westville, Cindy Tucker of Tahlequah, and Charles Wofford of Grove. Does the council have others?
Danny Daniels of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Danny Daniels.
Mary Sue Carter of Veneta. She's the mother of Tax Commissioner Chris Carter.
Raymond Bolin, Marble City.
And I have Mike Sanders of Pryor.
Jess Robbins, Tahlequah.
I have Frank Mink of Stillwell, Gene Riddle of the Greasy Community, and Bill Scott of the Proctor Community.
If we could have a moment of silence, please. Wadeau. This time, we're going to have special recognitions. I'd like to call down Cherokee Nation Health Director Connie Davis. She'll help us to honor some of the tribe's dedicated health professionals. She'll give a background on the incident and the actions of our talented staff, increasing quality health care has been a priority for the Cherokee Nation under my administration. When a cold blue case happened at Salina, our staff helped extend the patient's life. That is a rare feat. I appreciate all of our talented healthcare providers. Connie, if you'd step forward.
I think it's important to recognize this staff because survival rates for CPR or any cardiac arrest outside of a hospital is less than 30%. And what makes this really unique, in my opinion, is the clinical staff doesn't deal with this kind of emergency every day. You know, you become somewhat accustomed to it in a hospital setting, but in a rural setting, out in the clinic, in Salina, wherever, to be able to successfully resuscitate a patient speaks to the skill of the staff represented here. So, Dr. Underwood, if you and the rest of the staff of Salina would come on down. Dr. Brett Gray's not here, but he is the medical director there. Candace Burkhart. Christy Ross.
Candace was not here.
Right there. First. Christy is next. Christy Ross. Tina Snell, daughter-in-law of our own Councilman Curtis Snell. And Dr. Underwood, who is the director of our EMS, incidentally, he also works in the clinic there in Salina.
We all know the hard work that our health professionals do each and every day, but to go above and beyond and be successful, we truly appreciate it because you're caring for our family. I was remiss in the remembrances. We do not want to forget that the UKB Deputy Chief Charles Locust passed away this last month as well. He was a hard worker, an extremely good man. Finally, I signed a proclamation recognizing April as Disabilities Awareness Month. Details from Diane Kelly. Come on up. Yeah, Ed, okay.
My staff are back here in the back. Brenda Fitzgerald is our director for our vocational rehabilitation department, and I think most of you know that she's battling cancer. She couldn't be with us here tonight. Brenda is the one who takes care of all this stuff. We're trying to get all this together in her honor because she always does this. But I'd like for my staff to stand back here. They put together refreshments out there for you. James Ballard, Cheryl Adams, Alicia Eubanks, Mary Ross, and Teresa Chisholm. They are my voc rehab staff. And we're going to be giving you information about where they're going out to all the field offices. So we're going to start covering all that information out to you, but, we had refreshments here for you today, and, the chief signed a proclamation in honor of our Disability Awareness Month, because we want you to know that there are people out there who are disabled who come in for services, and a lot of people don't realize that they don't have to have impairments. Sometimes they do have a disability that you may not be aware of, and we just wanted to call that to your attention.
Thank you.
And with that, that completes the State of the Nation, and I believe Deputy Chief would like to put his part off. We're waiting for a World War II veteran to show up, so if you could call him up at a later time. Thank you.
And I think we're going to slide him in front of new business as we await for the second one to get here. That brings us down to unfinished business. I see none pending. We'll move on into committee reports. Our first report will be by our Housing Authority Director, Gary Cooper.
Madam Speaker, members of the council, good evening. I know that you've had an extremely long day, and so I'm going to keep this very, very, very short this evening. Just a reminder that tomorrow night is our regular Housing Authority Board meeting. That takes place the third Tuesday of every month at 5:30 p.m. at our offices there in Tahlequah. Most of you are aware that I do serve as one of the members of the Negotiated Rulemaking Committee for HUD on the Indian Housing Block Grant Formula. And HUD has scheduled our third session of NEGREG to take place next week, so I will be attending that. We continue to offer a number of programs at the Housing Authority, and one of the programs that we are proud to offer is our homeowners insurance program. We work very close in conjunction with Amran Risk Management Corporation, which we are part owners of, and we were very instrumental in starting that insurance or that risk pool back in 1986, I believe, is when Amran started, and it was because of us and a bunch of other folks out there in Indian country who had problems getting houses and housing units insured at a reasonable cost. So we all came together, put together with HUD's help, and put together a risk pool that has grown and continues to help more and more families out there today. One of the programs that we are able to offer is a affordable homeowners insurance program for income eligible families, and we have over 2,400 families who participate in that program today. And that doesn't include all of our managed units and our offices and everything else that we insure through Amran. I think that takes care of my report. Unless you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Again, I know that you've had a long day, so I wanted to keep it very short for you.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Cooper.
ma'am.
Our next report will be by Sean Slayton, CEO of Cherokee Nation Businesses.
Good evening, Council.
Evening.
Company still continues to show strong financial results for the first 5 months of the year. We're $1.2 million ahead of budget. Despite having, I think, a record 3 months in a row where we lost the first weekend on our gaming hospitality side to inclement weather. Were it not for that, we would really be knocking it out of the park. But in spite of that, our people have pulled together, and we're still doing very good. We had an additional $285,000 in tax collections in the month of February that were remitted to the Tax Commission. Working hard, diligently on the 4 clinics. Those are underway, and as I understand, things are going well there. Saw the hospital plans again today. They're working extremely hard to get those ready, and that looks like it's going to be a great facility. I believe next month we'll come out of the ground down at Roland. We're excited to unveil that project in a couple of weeks and let everybody see what that's going to look like. I think it'll be a home run for the Cherokee Nation. Roland has certainly waited their fair share of time down there to get a new facility, and I think they're going to be very proud of what we deliver there. Around the communities, Cherokee Nation business employees, along with the staff from Cherokee Nation, joined in the National Literacy Effort Read Across America Day and read to the students at Oaks Mission Elementary School. Volunteers shared their favorite stories by visiting kindergarten through 5th grade classes. This program helps encourage student achievement, reading ability, hoping to inspire a love for reading. Along with the employees from the Nation and CNB, Senator Wayne Shaw also stopped by and read a few of his favorites. This is an annual event that I believe West Siloam primarily has adopted, and the employees greatly enjoy going there, and I think the kids appreciate them coming. Cherokee Nation Cultural Tourism has launched a preservation series with numerous classes ranging from antique firearms to gravestones. The first class kicks off April 25th, and there will be a different course each month through August. In May, there will be a gravestone workshop. In June, it's Preserve Your Family's Heirlooms. In July, it's How to Protect Your Family's Photographs and Documents. And it concludes in August with a genealogy class. All classes are limited to 25 people on a first-come, first-served basis. And to reserve a space or get more info, you can go to visitcherokeenation.com. Tomorrow, Cherokee Nation is hosting a regional job fair at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. The fair will be held from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the upstairs salons A, B, C, and D of the casino. Jobs available within the businesses include hotel, gaming, food, and beverage positions. So we encourage you to let anybody that you know is looking for a job that will be held tomorrow. A few weeks ago, we opened the Highway 66 Diner at Hard Rock. It's located where Lyrics used to be and the original McGill's. It's a step back in time when burgers and shakes were served in the classic diner setting. The wait staff is in classic 50s attire, the booths, the counters, a rocking jukebox, and even a checkered floor. And most importantly, good food. We encourage you to check that out next time you're up there. As Chief mentioned, Macy's will hold their groundbreaking on April 17th. We're glad and honored to be a part of that project and excited to see it making progress. Our current employment at CNB was 5,892 all in CNB employees, 4,561 employees when you exclude contract and temporary employees. Our Cherokee percentage is 74%, with other Native American at 6.9, for a total of 80.9 Native American employment. And that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have questions? Yes, Mr. Keener.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, Sean, thank you for your report on page 8 or 18. It's got two numbers there, but thank you for updating the promotions with the job titles. I appreciate that. And on page 5 and 15, I was curious about Mobility Plus. Is that closed down now?
No, sir. Mobility still continues to operate. It's done much better this year, and we're evaluating, how to make that better all the time.
What, were they closed temporarily?
No, sir.
Okay, well, just a few days ago, I drove by and had two big closed signs on the window. They were a big sign.
Are you talking about a particular storefront?
Claremore?
Oh, in Claremore. They may have closed that storefront. I'm not sure there. I thought you meant the
Oh,
company.
okay.
Yeah, they may, due to volume or lack thereof.
Okay. And then also, could we, since you did a good job on the promotions, could we also include the contract and temporary employees too? Or at least the contract if you couldn't do the temporary? Or they may be one and the same in some cases.
I don't understand your question.
Well, we hear the reports of Cherokees being hired, but the and that you give a percentage, but then it excludes contract and temporary
Oh,
employee.
okay. Sure, we
That'd
can
be
add
helpful.
that.
Thank you. Madam Speaker.
Mr. Garvin?
I want to ask you a question. It's kind of unusual, but I'm going to say congratulations first. It's about Will Rogers Dam and Fair Meadows. Notice they asked for Cherokee help, and you made a situation possible, and that's outstanding. I'm amazed this took place, but I guess it's some maneuvering. Can you explain to the council kind of what happened?
Well, there's a lot going on up at Fair Meadows, as you may have read in the paper. And they came to us and asked us if we could help provide some help for their meet this spring. And we looked at running the races at WRD, and that wasn't practical late in the season. Couldn't really find a good way to add those to it. Plus, we didn't want to, put any hardship on WRD. So the next best thing was they asked us if we would provide some help. So we've detailed a few people over there, and they've agreed to reimburse us for their time and salary and everything, and we'll help them with their meet this spring. And we were glad to do that.
Maybe this will lead to greater things later on.
Well, we've been very fortunate with our relationship with the horsemen, and want to see that continue, and we'll do what we can to help promote that industry.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Watts?
Thank you, Speaker. So on Mobility Plus, I hadn't noticed the sign. Could you find out for sure and email us? I'm sure
Yeah.
Councilwoman Taylor would like to know too.
Sure.
I'm just guessing. Thank you.
Well,
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Sean.
thank you.
Deputy Chief, do you want to hold until after business, or do you want to go ahead and present now? I think you're still missing one of your folks. I think it'd be the privilege of the chair to put you wherever you want to go at this point. You want to go ahead and do Mr. Feeling, and then,
Would you like to go ahead and do yours right now, Durbin?
It's up to you guys, I don't know.
Okay. What would you, Madam Speaker?
let's just go ahead and do him, and then when the other gentleman comes in, if you all will give me leave, we'll do him at that time.
Okay. But thank you, Madam Speaker and Council, for allowing this extra time. We had a gentleman coming a great distance, and he was having difficulty with transportation, and we wanted to give him some extra time. Let's recognize Durbin Feeling tonight. Would the council members from Cherokee County come down and help with this, please? Council members from Cherokee County? Dr. Rick, would you come down, please? I want to read a little bit about Durbin Feeling. He was born April the 2nd, 1946 in the Little Rock community east of Locust Grove in Mays County. He grew up with his parents Jeff and Elizabeth Young Deer Feeling, sister Una Mae, and brother Russell. He attended grades 1 through 8 at Little Rock Elementary School. He attended high school at Chilocco Indian School, where he graduated in 1964. He played football during high school, was a member of the Chilocco Concert and Marching Band, where he played the slide trombone. He was elected by the band as a drum major during his senior year. Durbin is an active member of the Chilocco National Alumni Association and served as president of the association for 2 years. He is also the recipient of the Chilocco National Alumni Association Hall of Fame. He graduated from Bacone Junior College with an Associate of Arts degree, graduated from Northeastern Oklahoma State University, where he studied journalism, studied linguistics at the University of California, Irvine. He graduated from UCI with a Master of Arts in Descriptive Linguistics. In 2004, the Ohio State University conferred upon him the honorary doctorate in linguistics for his life's work in the Cherokee language. Following his studies in linguistics, Durbin Feeling entered the United States Army, trained in gunnery and weaponry. He served as a door gunner with the 195th Assault Helicopter Company in Vietnam and completed his service with the rank of Specialist 5th Class. His awards include the Vietnam Service Medal with United States of America, the Vietnam Service Medal from Southeast Asia, 2 overseas bars, Commendation Award from United States Chief of Staff, Presidential Unit Citation, Marksmanship Award in M9, M60, and M16, Specialist 5th Class Service Rank, and an honorable discharge. And Durbin Feeling, thank you, sir, for your service to this country.
First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to be here. Second, my wife, I'm glad she's here with me, and some of the things that she has to go through as dealing with somebody who's gone through combat and everything. Chief Baker, Deputy Chief Crittenden, Council, and everybody who's had a part in my nomination of the award. I thank you very much. And last of all, I want to make a salute to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, the heroes, and their families, and those who came back maimed, and their families as well. And thank you very much.
Madam Speaker, I think our second veteran has shown up.
Go ahead and continue.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I get this name right. Help me with it. It's Scullall, is that right? Would you come down, sir? Elmer Scullall. Elmer, I'm so glad that transportation worked out for you, sir. I'm going to read a little bit about you, Elmer. He was born December the 15th, 1925, approximately 4 miles north of Ochalata in Washington County. Councilman Lay, would you come down, please? His parents were Maggie Daniels Scullall and Richard Scullall. He had an older brother, Victor, and a sister, Emma Lou. He graduated from Ochalata Public School, or Ochalata, I guess is the proper way to say that, in May of 1944. The next day, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy. Elmer went through boot camp at United States Naval Training and Distribution Center at Camp Wallace, Texas. After boot camp, he was sent to the West Coast and assigned to duty on the light cruiser USS St. Louis. Following air attacks off the coast of Leyte, Philippine Islands, the St. Louis was hit by several kamikazes that left a number of dead and wounded, including Mr. Scullall. The wounded were sent to Fleet Hospital 105 on the island of New Caledonia. After recovering from his injuries, he was sent back to the St. Louis and went on to the Battle of Okinawa. Then the crew began preparation for the invasion of Japan proper. After the war ended, the St. Louis didn't return home immediately. Instead, she was assigned magic carpet duty, picking up military personnel and bringing them home from various islands, a duty repeated numerous times. After this was completed, Elmer was discharged. His awards include Purple Heart and Navy Unit Citation. And Mr. Skalal, I appreciate the service that you gave this great country. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to start into new business. I need to make an announcement tonight. We've had a very long day. All of these items at one committee or another have been fully explored, debated. I'm going to limit debate tonight to 2 minutes on any item by any council member. And the timekeeper will be, Shelley, can you do our timekeeper business? Okay. And I'll announce that that goes for all items on the agenda. And I believe that is the privilege of the chair. So we'll start into new business under education. Mr. Walkingstick, will you take number 1?
Yes, Speaker. This is a resolution supporting Oklahoma Education Coalition funding. If you guys probably heard on the news, March 31st, there was thousands of educators at the state capitol talking about all the mandates coming down from the state, but the lack of funding. And as a tribe, we're behind our education systems. And, I'd like to put this in the form of a motion, Speaker.
Second.
Let's see, we have a motion, and who was the second over here? Mr. Keener? Motion by David and second by Mr. Keener. Do we have comments or questions?
By acclamation.
Okay. We've had a request by acclamation. All those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. And we will be sending that up to the
coalition.
Okay, and you'll get with Gail to get that packaged up.
Thank you, Speaker.
Okay, coming out of Rules Committee, we have the number 2 item. Janelle, I'm going to ask you to take that.
All right, thank you. This is a resolution authorizing the Election Commission to secure existing election service safety deposit box, and I'll put that in the form of a motion and move for its approval.
Okay, we have a motion, and we have second down here, I think, by Denise. Are there questions or comments?
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Ms. Watts.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, I'd requested in committee that they will be reporting out in writing the contents from the box when they find it. That was the request that been, if I recall, it was accepted at committee. Just want to make sure that's on the record, that we'll have a report in writing of any contents found in the box when it's open, the safety deposit box.
What will come out of committee? I don't, did we vote on that? Were we going to put that in the resolution somewhere? She wants an inventory of the box. Do you have a friendly to offer to, I think Janelle made the motion. Do you want to put it under the fourth whereas?
Just that, and all contents of the safety deposit box will be reported in writing to the tribal council.
Okay. Do you accept that?
Yes.
Okay, and does the second accept that?
Yes.
Okay, that will be added as a fourth whereas, Shelley. Okay. Now, are there any other questions or comments?
Widow.
Okay. All those in favor of this resolution can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it with that amendment. Number 3 is also coming out of Rules Committee. Mr. Walking-Stick, will you take that one?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. This is a resolution establishing a Cherokee National Day of Honor and Recognition known as the Cherokee Nation Leadership Day. And this is a leadership day that will recognize former leadership that got the tribe to where we are today. And it's going to be on the Columbus Day. I can't take credit for this, Speaker. There's a young gal, Sierra Fields, 14-year-old. She's a champion for change, melanoma cancer survivor. She was a finalist for 2014 Presidential Spirit of Community Awards. She's been recognized from the House, from the Oklahoma State House to Congress. Sierra Fields, are you here, Sierra? This is Sierra Fields, folks. Give her a hand. Folks, but she is truly a champion for change, and I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Walking-Stick, a second by Mr. Garvin. And I also thank Ms. Fields for bringing this to our attention. Now, are there questions or comments? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is there an opportunity to yield any time to Sierra since she's here?
Actually, we have already talked about that at committee, so we're recognizing her tonight and certainly appreciate all the help that she's done in bringing this to our attention.
Okay, then
Thank you.
I would just like to say thank you very much to Sierra and both her parents for all they do in representing the Cherokee Nation. I know it's time intensive and financially consuming, and you really do a great job of effectively using tribal resources when we are able to get those to you, and we appreciate all that you do and that you include your peers. You are truly a leader. Thank you. Widow.
Are there any other questions or comments? All those in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, ayes have it. That moves us to number 4, also coming out of rules. Ms. Fishenhoff, will you do that?
Yeah, this is a legislative act amending Legislative Act 10-11 relating to gaming within the jurisdiction of Cherokee Nation, and I move for its approval.
Okay. Second. We have a motion and a second by Mr. Thornton. Okay. Do we have comments?
Comment.
Okay.
This was brought through the Rules Committee, which I chair. At that time, I questioned the Gaming Commission and also the CNB CEO and the staff about not coming together and working together for the betterment of the Cherokee Nation. There have not been communication taking place. I feel like both of these entities, we need more accountability through communication and more transparency. I abstain from the vote in rules. I will support it tonight I've had discussion with the speaker and also the chair of the Gaming Commission to work this out and bring some resolution back to the council. We should never have been in the discussion in the first place because we're all one Cherokee Nation, very many different entities there. So we're going to be monitoring this, and 6 months from now, they better have some solutions taking place, or we'll bring it back, we'll amend this legislative act. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Other questions? Mr. Keener.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Because we didn't get to discuss it, and the Gaming Commission knew nothing about it, and we didn't know anything about it until we sat down to the committee meeting, I would like to make a motion that we table this for 1 month.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion by Mr. Keener, a second by Ms. Watts.
Can I have a friendly
table?
amendment, if you'll accept it, that it goes back to committee so that it can be debated as the Gaming Commission chair requested?
You're either going to table or send it back. Which one are you doing?
I'm asking as a friendly amendment that it,
Accept that.
to send it back, whether that's a table to send back or to just a motion.
I think it'd
to
be a
send
motion to send it back.
For 1 month.
Okay. Now, okay, we've had a motion and second to table. Yes will be to table. No will be to continue discussion. And we'll need to probably take roll call vote.
No.
Janelle Fulbright,
No.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
No.
China Gloria Jordan,
No.
Lee Keener,
Yes.
Dick White,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
No.
Janice Taylor,
I'm going to abstain.
David Thornton,
No.
Victoria Vesquez,
No.
David Wolfenstick,
No.
Kara Cowan Watts,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Joe Byrd,
No.
Julia Kettle.
Yes.
We have 7 yes, 9 no, and 1 abstention.
Okay, the motion fails, so we will continue discussion. Are there others that want to discuss? Yes, Mr. Lay.
And thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't want to discuss or comment, but we do have a gaming commissioner in the House, Ruth Ann Weaver.
It's good to
And I
see you.
think one of her employees, Director Hummingbird, and I don't know if there are others in the House tonight. If there are, whoop, hold your hand up. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. I think, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, y'all are close to 90% Cherokee. Is that correct? Are you close to 90% Cherokee in your
Employment.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all for
Thank you.
coming tonight. Are there other, okay, Ms. Coates?
Well, understanding that the previous motion was to send it back to committee, and understanding that the director or the chair of the Gaming Commission has implored us to table this, that they had no, that they were not informed, they've had no input to the legislation, and that they feel that they very much would like to have input to it. I would at this time move to table.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to table. The motion's made by Julia Coates, seconded by Kara Cowan Watts. A yes will be to table. A no will be to continue discussion. Would you go ahead and call the roll? Shelley?
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Joe Byrd,
No.
Julia Kettle,
Yes.
Jody Fisher,
No.
Janelle Fulbright,
No.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
No.
China Gloria Jordan,
No.
Lee Keener,
Yes.
Dick Lay,
Yes.
Curtis Snell,
No.
Janice Taylor,
Abstain.
No.
Victoria Vasquez?
No.
David Walkingstick?
No.
Kara Cowan-Watt?
Yes.
Jack Baker?
Yes.
Seven yes, 9 no, and 1 abstention.
Okay. The motion has failed. We will continue discussion. Yes, Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This act primarily does three things. One, it inserts council people onto what should be an autonomous gaming commission with potential influence. Two, it says that it alienates gaming strictly from non-gaming activities and employees, which I think is wrong in terms of governance, because folks that are on the floor giving out drinks or businesses that choose to rent inside our gaming facility, which is trust land set aside for gaming, should be regulated because they are very near the games and could create a mechanism for funny business to happen. And then the third thing is that it says that it limits our tribal gaming commission, which is our self-governance, from being able to do its own local needs set in terms of beyond minimum standards of regulation. Why would we as a body want to take away our own authority to self-govern when we have diverse facilities of varying sizes and different needs? Makes no sense. The people involved, the gaming commissioners or the gaming commissioning staff, as well as some of us on the council, were not even made aware of what appeared to be 3 to 4 months of work and 400-plus hours of work, which was noted in committee. We're limited on time tonight. I was not given an electronic copy of this. I wasn't given the report that kept being referred to in committee of all the so-called allegations of problems around the Gaming Commission. So we're pushing through legislation about that we shouldn't even be voting on without proper, everybody on this body should be given proper information and time to consider. And on top of it, the Federal Indian Gaming Act, Section 542.17, says that we must be allowed to govern over any areas with comps, which include Meg's Jewelry, Toby Keith's, the golf course, all the things and the examples that were given to us in this committee. And at the same time, the legislation doesn't even do what people think it's going to do in terms of lessening the regulations on
Thank you,
gaming.
Ms. Watts. Do we have others that are, Mr. Keener?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, we did discuss that a lot, and I agree with what Council Lady Cal Watts just intimated, and that is we have been told the cost of what it has been costing us, but we haven't been told the cost of what it could cost us if we pass this act. So we still don't know about that. There's nothing pressing to pass this right now. It wouldn't hurt anything to wait a month. And the Gaming Commission has asked us to do so. And out of respect to them, out of respect for our employees, out of respect for the whole Gaming Commission as a whole, I would ask this body to vote accordingly. It'd be a travesty to get into this and find out something bad is going to happen. We do not know the repercussions of what will happen yet. It hasn't been all vetted out in the committee meeting. So there are grave concerns that this would enact if this was passed. So we have to be very careful proceeding forward. I see nothing wrong with waiting 1 month to let these two, Gaming Commission, Council, and C&B work this out, and then present us with an act. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Mr. Walkingstick.
Just on this act, we were given this act or I was plenty of time. I read through it thoroughly. With the 3 advisory members, I think it's causing transparency into the Gaming Commission. And I think that's what we all long for as a tribe, is transparency. When I was running, that's all I heard. How often is a person works out the golf course, or a janitor, or someone works in serving hamburgers going to be back in the vault? Them having a gaming commission, a gaming license, it's cost. I think the stats said over the last 4 to 5 years, there's $4 million it's costing us to operate in this way. And the other statistic I heard was that 90% of the tribes, maybe 95%, operate under the minimal control standards, the minimal. And the minimal has a huge package involved with that. But when you guys exceed over those minimal, that's when it becomes costly and it cuts into our dividend that goes back to our people and to the communities. Speaker, I'll be voting in favor of this act. Thank you.
Other comments on this side? Yes, Mr. Baker.
Just a comment. I know Councilor Walkenstick had stated that he received this in plenty of time. I know myself and several other councilors received it the day of the committee meeting. Well, not even the day, during the committee meeting itself. Thank you.
Have you all had it the last 15 days so that you could ask any questions that you wanted to of anyone that you wanted to? I believe you have. I just add that as my comment. Any other comments down here? Yes, Mr. Thornton.
Yes, I've received it just like everybody else did. I've been to the last 3 or 4 meetings for the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission. You know something, I've been on this council for 15 years, it'd be 18 when I go off. And these new things that's coming out like Twitter and Facebook, I don't appreciate fellow council people going on Twitter and telling people I'm against the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission and won't get rid of them. I think that's a bunch of bull because you can't get rid of them. So I want people to understand that. So also, they're using those tactics in the last election to campaign against me, and I can withstand that. I did. But anyway, I think there's a lot of things going on here. I understand that some of our people in the gaming industry have been called thugs, and I'm being associated with thugs. So I want that to be known too, because if you're from Sequoia County, you understand what a thug is. So I appreciate, people not saying those type of things. But anyway, I guess it's the type of thing that you go through and you look at everything you can look at. And for the last 4 months, I've been going through it. And I've found 56 things that caused us 4.2 or 3 or 5 million. It cost us. And it cost my people over $1 million that should have went to them. So I want everybody to know and understand that this is not no playhouse. And it's time to straighten this house up. And I'm not against any of the Gaming Commission. I'm not against the CEO. But I do say that the Constitution says that this council will watch over the funding. And I'm ready to watch over the funding, people.
Mr. Thornton, I guess we've run out of time. Thank you, sir. Ms. Coates.
Yes. Thank you again. Councilor Thornton, I share your pain. I'm not a friend of social media. I'm not fond of it either. I also don't appreciate it when fellow council people go to social media or mainstream media, whatever it may be, and tell lies about me, about things that I am alleged to have done either. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and I agree it's not a good thing to be doing. As far as the Gaming Commission, I think that one of the good principles of government is that we maintain strict separations between the politicians and the sources of revenue. This is why we have a separation between the Cherokee Nation Tribal Council and the CNB Board. It's a separation which is becoming fuzzier and fuzzier in my mind, at least all the time, and that gives me concern. And the separation between the Tribal Council and the Gaming Commission now that has always been in place and which is now being eroded by this legislation is also of concern to me. When politicians start getting close to the money sources, start directing what's going to happen and how things can go, in that way, this is not good. This is not good for any kind of government. And it may be a small step here, but it's a step down a slippery slope. And I can't express that in more vehement terms than that, I guess. So it's when the Gaming Commission, when the chair of the Gaming Commission is asking us to meet with her and to hear from her. It's not a matter of simply us asking questions. Have we asked our questions? It seems very much as though there are things that she would like to convey to us. And I'm confounded as to why we cannot table this or postpone it for another month, just to extend a professional courtesy to someone that we have invested with a great deal of responsibility.
Who else do
Thank
we
you.
have over here? Okay, everybody over here? Let's see. Ms. Fishenhawk?
Okay, I'm going to read a quote from our NIGC bulletin. Comprehensive regulation is a necessary component in the system of checks and balances needed to ensure the integrity of games and to protect the interest of the tribe. But the regulatory entity should have no involvement in the operational or managerial decisions of a gaming facility, except to the extent that such issues involve tribal law or regulations. And that's as decided by the government of the Cherokee Nation, also known as the Tribal Council. The Gaming Commission has expanded its regulations and its ticks to include our non-gaming activities and businesses, as well as in venturing into areas restricting Cherokee Nation Entertainment's management's abilities to effectively and efficiently manage the gaming operation, and that lessens the economic benefit of gaming to the Cherokee Nation. Hey, we want Cherokee Nation C&E's management to be in compliance, but we don't have any problems with sensible controls. We want them to protect our assets and our revenue streams. But a number of their requirements go beyond gaming and into areas of management and non-gaming operations. There's been a lot of man hours and funds spent on new and expensive technologies just to comply with the Gaming Commission's ticks and regulations. This has had an impact on C&E's gaming and non-gaming operations and their ability to maximize the dividend to the Cherokee Nation government. That's why we started looking at this. It still sets boundaries, folks. We're not doing away with the Gaming Commission. It sets up an advisory board, a 3-person advisory board, and it still sets the minimum internal controls. As David Walkenstick says, 95% of the tribes do this. Let's be in that 95%.
Janelle?
Yes. I think I'm the only person on the Tribal Council who served on the Gaming Commission for many, many years, and I totally understand what their job is, and I also understand what the job of the Tribal Council is. As long as we are going by the NIGC's minimum internal control standards, that is a lot of regulation. That is what 95% of the tribes do. And by overextending and overregulating, it is costing us money. It was estimated $3.5 million over the last 2 or 3 years. And as chair of the Health Committee, I can tell you right now, we need that money in our new clinics and our healthcare system. We all want it to be regulated. I understand what minimum internal control standards are. We just call them the mix for short. And as long as you go by them, you're running a straight and legitimate gaming operation. And that is good enough for the Cherokee Nation. We want to be making money. When you've got your other casinos across the street going by that only, and we are overextending and buying extra stuff so that we can have all of our recordings in color instead of in black and white and keeping them for 30 days instead of 7, it costs a lot of money. And I'm just saying I am for this, and I'm for the bottom line, and I'm for the Cherokee people. That's all.
Well, I guess I'm last, and I'll tell you how I look at this. One, this council tonight is doing their job. Our job is to make law. And when we make law, we try to take into consideration the things that law will do. One of the things that's happening now is because we're going past the minimum standards, we are putting ourselves at a competitive disadvantage in one of the most competitive markets in the world. If you just look at the Tulsa market, we have the Osages, we have the Creeks. They're going by the minimum standards. We're placing our people in our casinos at a competitive disadvantage because we're not. And I agree with Janelle. We have checked into this. 95% of the tribes go to the minimum standards because they are extremely hard to comply with, extremely hard. Only 5% of the tribes go past that, and I've yet to find out why any tribe would put their business arm at such a disadvantage. It comes down to me that is less revenues for services for our people. And folks, we are a government. We provide services. When the bottom line of our business arm is $4 or $5 million less, that translates into less dividends, that translates into less services. We're not saying there's anything wrong with our commission. We have a good commission. The folks that sat on this body appointed that commission. We are proud of that commission. But we also believe from time to time, as any committee or commission that we appoint, that we have the right to give them some guidelines. And that's what this law will do. It will give them some guidelines. It will give them a line in the sand where we say, after this line, we don't need for you to go. The law allows that. We have talked to gaming attorneys and they have, okay, I'm out. I will support this. Okay, so everyone's had an opportunity to talk on this, both at committee, resumed committee, and our council tonight. This is an act. We will be taking a roll call vote. Yes is to pass this act. No is the act would fail. Yes.
David Gordon,
Yes.
Victoria Vesquez,
Yes.
David Walkingstick,
Yes.
Kara Callan Watts,
No.
Jack Baker,
No.
Harley Buzzer,
No.
Joe Byrd,
Yes.
Julie McCall,
No.
Jody Fishenhop,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
No.
Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Hannah Porter Jordan,
Yes.
Dick Wiener,
No.
Dick Lay,
No.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
Denise Taylor.
Abstain.
Nine yes, 7 no.
Okay, the Gaming Act does pass. That moves us to, let me get back here on my agenda. That moves us to number 5. Mr. Byrd, would you take that?
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus office equipment to War Pony Community Outreach in Cherokee County.
Are you putting that in form of a motion?
Yes.
Yes, do I
Second.
have a second? Second by Janice. Questions or comments?
Got me added as a sponsor speaker?
Mr. Walkingstick would like to be added as a sponsor. Mr. Lay, would you like to be added as a sponsor? Frankie would like to be added as a sponsor. Janice, I would like to also be added as a sponsor. Who else? Mr. Thornton would like to be added as a sponsor. Who do we have? Anybody on this side? Victoria would like to be added as a sponsor. Curtis? Okay, do we have everybody that'd like to be added as a sponsor? Okay. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Number 6, Victoria, would you take that?
Yes.
Okay.
A resolution authorizing the development and submission of a grant application to the Department of Labor for a youth build program. I put that in the form of a motion.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Do we have questions or comments? Yes, Mr. Keener.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
Okay, Mr. Keener would like to be added as a sponsor. Is there anybody else? Mr. Garvin? Who else we got? Mr. Lay? Kara? Who else do we have? David, walking stick. Okay, is that everybody? Okay, do we have questions or comments? All those in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Believe the ayes have it. Janice, would you take number 7?
This is an act amending Legislative Act 22-13, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2014, Mob 4B, and declaring an emergency, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments? This is an act. Do I hear by acclamation? Okay, I hear a request by acclamation from Mr. Garvin. All those in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Believe the ayes have it. Number 8, Janice, would you take that one too?
This is an act amending Legislative Act 2113, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2014, Mod 7A, and declaring an emergency. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second.
By acclamation.
Again, we've had a request by acclamation. Are there questions or comments before we take that vote? All those in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? By the way, this passes, but I think that we did a lot of good work on these budgets tonight. This is our carryover time, and this will be a shot in the arm to a number of programs that are in vital need of money mid-year. Now we're to the announcement stage. I'll start down here, Arlie. Okay, anybody on this side? Announcements? Victoria?
We're having a housing meeting at South Coffeyville on April 29th, Tuesday evening.
Okay.
And that will be for all the residents in that area.
Okay. Anybody else on this side? How about down here? Mr. Walking Stick?
We have a community meeting at Dry Creek tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. So come on out, eat. There'll be some services there as well from Cherokee Nation. Thank you.
Okay. Frankie?
On April 26th, I will be having a volunteer day at Cherokee Children's Mission. It's in Bunch. I believe some of the CMB volunteers will be joining us, and everybody's welcome to come out and help.
Okay. Any other announcements? Good meeting. Hear a motion for adjournment? Mr. Garvin, second over here, I believe Mr. Baker. All in favor can signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you all. See you next month.